Hi everyone, welcome to Law with Dunc, the Law Guy, and welcome back to Brand New Day, the relaunch of the TLG Case a Day series. For day 2, we're continuing with the topic of omissions by looking at the important criminal law case of R.V. Gibbins and Proctor, a case from 1918. Before we begin, I'd just like to clarify something from the previous video. The Actus Reus, or physical element of a criminal offence, is usually committed through a positive voluntary act. However, it can also be committed in other ways, including through an omission, where the defendant owes a legal duty to act. I'm also just going to add, Actus Reus, that term, is Latin for the guilty act, and it just means the physical part of a criminal offence, and it can be committed in a variety of ways, omissions being one of them. The general rule is that simply failing to act does not usually make a person criminally liable for an offence. That's because England and Wales do not have a general Good Samaritan law, which would require people to help strangers in emergency situations. However, there are recognised exceptions where a defendant owes a legal duty to act. Failing to fulfil that duty can amount to a criminal offence, specifically the actus reus of a criminal offence. One such duty arises through that of a special relationship, such as that between a parent and child, and is illustrated in the case of R.V. Gibbins and Proctor, a case from 1918. In this case, a 7-year-old girl went to live with her father and his partner. The father had children from a previous marriage. The father and his partner deliberately separated the young girl from her siblings and intentionally starved her to death. And both defendants were convicted of murder. The father owed a legal duty to feed and care for his daughter because of their parent-to-child relationship. His failure to fulfill that duty amounted to an omission, forming the actus reus of murder. Combined with the necessary mens rea, which is either an intention to kill or an intention to cause really serious harm at that point in time for murder, he was found guilty of murder. The father's partner was also convicted of murder because she had voluntarily undertaken responsibility or accepted responsibility for caring for the child. By failing to feed the daughter, the stepdaughter in her case, she too committed the actus reus of murder through an omission. So whenever you think about special relationships creating a legal duty to act, remember the case of R.V. Gibbins and Proctor, 1918. Before I go, if there's ever a case you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments and I'll add it to the series. Whether you're a student looking for free case recordings or a teacher interested in classroom resources, you can find all of the Law Guide platforms through my link tree in my Instagram bio, including the merch shop, there's 2 of them, or simply search Law with Dunc the Law Guy or at Dunc the Law Guy. And that's it for today. Come back for another case a day, and as always, keep it legal.